Welcome, ladies and gents, my name is Curci, and we are going to be talking about Ori and the Blind Forest and just how amazing this game is. From the story, to the art style, to the music, the gameplay, there is so much about this game that just sticks out in my head whenever I want to go back and say, you know what, I want to play more of this game. Super expansive, so much exploration that you can do when you start going about this world. The combat and the way the mechanics, how responsive the controls are, the art style, and how it just mesmerizes you. But let's talk about what the game is first. Ori and the Blind Forest is a 2D platformer reminiscent of games like Metroid, which means it has a really expansive area that really promotes exploration. Like, yeah, the story will take you in one direction. It's almost like an open world 2D game. It's not like Skyrim where you look on the horizon and are like, those are the places that I can go. No, it's 2D. You can only go up, down, left, and right. But the game will take you to certain areas. It won't take you to every area. And when you start pulling up your map and revealing different sections of the map, you start to see grayer areas and you're like, okay, this is a place I haven't been before. Maybe there's something there that can help me out. Because there is sort of like an RPG element to it. There is a role-playing aspect to the game in the way of every time you level up, you have this skill tree that you can actually put points into. You can deal more damage, get more health when you pick up pickups, reveal collectibles on the map so that when you go and you search for these collectibles, you know exactly where they are. And as you go and explore these areas, the mechanics of the game, like as you go through the story, you start to unlock basic core abilities. And I feel like most, if not all of the abilities that you get in this game have two purposes. They can be used in combat and they can be used to help you traverse the field. One of the abilities is called a charged flame. If you hold down the attack button, it basically charges up an attack and explodes. And of course it will damage enemies, but there are certain areas in the game that you need to use that in order to blow your path forward. There's just this rock in the way, and if you explode and use the charged flame, it will clear out the path. And that will unlock a new area for you to explore. Another ability is called Stomp. When Ori jumps in the air and you push down, he'll basically do a ground pound attack. Now you can ground pound right on top of enemies and do damage. In fact, there are some enemies that require you to use ground pound in order to defeat them. Well, not require, like there are other ways of beating them, but the best way of doing it is using a ground pound attack. But ground pound can also be used to blow out a weak section of the floor. If the floor is a little bit unstable, you can ground pound and clear out that area. Once again, unlocking a new section of the map. It's that attention to detail that I feel like the developers did when they were creating the mechanics of the game just really worked. Like, it's super easy to make a game that has a bunch of abilities that you use in combat and then you just go about the game following along the story. But the game promotes itself as you go through, because once you get an ability, you remember a different area of the game where you're like, hey, I needed this ability that I just got to access that other area that I passed not too long ago. And then you find yourself backtracking to go and explore because you just want to know what's there. It's such a great game, and it also really helps that the mechanics of the game are super responsive. Are they easy to pick up? Like, do I pick up a controller and instantly know how to play Ori? Of course not. It's going to take a little bit to get a feel for the game, but you get all of that out within the first few hours of the game. Like, within 1 hour, I understood the mechanics and I knew exactly how Ori had to navigate, the way he would go about in combat. Like, I understood the game and how it was supposed to be played. And then unlocking additional abilities, going and searching these other areas that I couldn't search before because I didn't have those abilities. It's that Metroidvania style of gameplay where you could just go explore, lose yourself in the world, and then be like, oh wait, there's a story over here that I have to get to. And the story, I feel like, is just so emotionally draining. It's so well written without most of the characters even delivering dialogue. There is character development with characters. Ori connects with certain characters, has confrontations with certain characters. And without any dialogue, you basically feel the story unraveling in front of your eyes. There is dialogue in this game. Basically, there is the voice of the spirit tree that basically talks in some weird made-up language. And then also Ori's companion Sane that also acts as his guide, basically telling him, hey, this is where we need to go next. But Sane is also like the one, when you hit the main attack button, Sane just fires off these like laser attacks. And that's your primary form of attack. But like I said before, Ori gains abilities himself. So like you can vault off of enemies, and when you vault off of enemies, Ori will be launched in one direction, but the thing he's launching off of will launch in the other direction. So you can fire like their own attacks back at the enemy. But the story is just so good. Like immediately when it starts up, it's in the trailer. I won't talk about it, but if you've seen the trailer for this game when I think it was first announced, there is a really just very sad moment that happens. And I really wish that didn't happen in the trailer, but I have to be honest, like because that moment was in the trailer, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to play this game because it was just so gut-wrenching, but it was also like really intrigued me because it promotes that there is a really strong story element with this game, and there absolutely is. As you go through the main missions, this game just gets sprinkled with even more story. You'll meet new characters as you go through, and then those characters will develop as you continue through the story. Like the beginning has a sad moment, the middle has a sad moment, and at the end has a sad moment. This is a very sad game, but it's so well written. It reminds me a lot of Brothers. Brothers was a game that was also very hard-hitting in terms of story, but the main point of that game was like you can control two characters at once using each of the thumbsticks on the controller. Like that was the reason why you played the game. Like you didn't really play it for the story. The story was just another thing that you could experience and enjoy. But really, you're playing that game and just trying to figure out the puzzles and everything. And Ori is the same way. But I just have to say that Ori and the Blind Forest's story is so incredible. It just blew me away. Like I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. But another thing that really stuck out to me was the soundtrack of this game. In addition to the really cool art style that you see behind you, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Like you'll just be sitting there mesmerized by the sight of the spirit tree or seeing a volcano out in the distance when you hit to the top of a mountain. Just the area behind you is always constantly moving, so it feels like it's alive, like there's a whole other world that's expanded upon what I'm seeing right in front of me. But the music that accompanies each area it's just so well done. Like when you get to the spirit tree, there's this nice somber music and just really soothing. But then you meet the story's antagonist and the music kicks in to an epic amount and it's just, yep, this is gonna be an issue. And even when moments pick up, there are a lot of sort of escape sequences, like Ori will have to try and escape rising water or falling debris. The music picks up, but it's not like the recycled music. A lot of times you could be like, oh, it's an escape sequence, let's put that escape music on. No, each different escape sequence had different music that accompanied that situation, and I feel like that did the same for every other area in the game. But this game is, to a degree, pretty difficult. You're gonna die alive. Whether it's an enemy that's gonna kill you, whether it's those escape sequences that are gonna kill you, but there are just gonna be puzzles and just environmental hazards that are just going to kill you a lot. And this game is gonna get pretty frustrating, but it's not to the point of like a Dark Souls level of frustrating where I'm just like, I just wanna stop playing this game. No, it's actually fuels me to wanna continue to play more. There are moments in this game where I died a whole lot, but I'm like, I'm so close. But it's not even to the point of like, I'm making it even harder for myself because there are extra things that I want to grab in addition to me doing this one thing. Like I'm making it more difficult for myself, but even still, like the game makes me want to think this way. Like I want to challenge myself when I play this game and I don't want to stop until I beat this area. In that respect, I really like the fact that the game allowed me to place down checkpoints where I wanted. Like it didn't let me put it down wherever I wanted. Like say for example, if it was like in a dangerous area, the game would be like, probably not a good idea to put a checkpoint here. But for the most part, it was just like, you're in control of the checkpoint. Like there is no checkpoint system. Like once you get past a certain point, the game doesn't say, hup, checkpoint reached. No, you throw down something that's called a soul link, which you can also use to kind of level up your abilities if you have the ability points to spend. But it will also save the game. And there are other areas that you can also save the game. Like say, the game will just automatically save once you complete a main objective. But then there are also like these spirit wells that you can use and kind of rejuvenate all of your energy and all of your health, and it will also save the game. But yes, you're gonna die a lot. Polygon actually put it best. The game's gonna kill you so often, it keeps track of it. But don't let that discourage you. It's a challenging game, yes, but it's a good kind of challenging game. Like it's not hard for the sake of being hard. There are other elements to enjoy. There's a story to enjoy. There's art style to enjoy. There's just awesome mechanics to enjoy. Exploration to enjoy. Here's the one thing that I really didn't like about Ori. When I finished the game was done. Really would have been awesome if like after the credits were over, the game would have been like, hup, you completed it. Here's the achievement for completing it. All right, now go right back into the game. Like just, okay, it's gonna start you with the spirit tree. Now I have freedom to go explore. No objectives or anything, but it's just like, yeah, you didn't explore everything. Now go explore. Go get those collectibles. Such a well-made game. In my opinion, this is the best game this year. Like I haven't played Battlefield Hardline yet. I would be super surprised if Battlefield Hardline actually beats Ori and the Blind Forest. And by beats, I mean having me view it as a better game. Like as I go throughout the year, I already started assembling my top 10 best games of 2015. So far I'm at 3 games and Ori and the Blind Forest is right at the top. And I'm gonna be super surprised if Battlefield Hardline overtakes it. Like I'd be super surprised if Ori and the Blind Forest isn't even in my top 5. If there are 5 other games that I find are better than Ori and the Blind Forest, we're gonna have a really good year. It's only $20 and you can get it on the PC, you can get it on the Xbox One, eventually it will be available for the 360. Play this game. It's not so hard that it's mind-numbingly hard, it's like the proper level of hard, like it just encourages you to want to play more. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.